Hello, welcome to Lenny's Life Lessons. This is a discussion on spirituality concerning faith and fear. These discussions are intended purely for educational purposes. I offer private, individual and group counseling and coaching sessions, including spiritual counseling and coaching, in person, by phone, and over the internet. Please visit my website, lennylondon.com, for information about these services. My mission is to serve to advance you in living your life even more powerfully, richly, and joyfully. Subscribe to these educational discussions on various topics posted here by noon, 5 days a week. In my last discussion, I explained how the ego is not the reason for most of humanity's problems and pain and suffering, as current popular philosophy would have us think. In fact, it is painful negative perceptions about ourselves that are the root of much of the suffering that we experience and cause to others. The painful perceptions and unfounded fears, not the ego or the self that entertains these. Painful perceptions about ourselves cause us to behave in hurtful ways. Yet it is unfounded fear that produces the worst, most devastating behaviors. Fear, like every emotion God designed for us to experience, serves a valuable purpose when there is something real to be afraid of in the physical world. The fear response in the face of imminent danger helps to ensure the survival of the human species, and certainly would help ensure your survival if you're in a dangerous or potentially dangerous situation. Fear of an approaching tornado would prompt you to take cover rather than to run out to watch it. But fear gone wild, unfounded fear, can and does cause much unnecessary pain and suffering. Unfounded fear that there are not enough resources, that there will not be enough for me, can result in greed. Unfounded fear of anyone or anything different than us can result in persecution and intolerance. Fear produces the need to be in control. You can tell how fear-driven a person is by observing how controlling they are. The need to be controlling is purely a function of fear. You may have heard the saying that the opposite of fear is love. I always thought that was incorrect. I thought the opposite of love is hate, and the opposite of fear is faith. But after analyzing this closer, I realized that hate is purely a fear-based response. We only hate what hurts us or what we are afraid of, what we are afraid would or could hurt us. I also realized that the definition of faith is believing without necessarily having evidence. Then I realized that so many people actually have faith in their fears. They actually believe without evidence that anyone different from them is a threat to them. They believe without evidence that there is not enough for everyone, even in the prosperous United States. Isn't it interesting that this fear consciousness has been with humans since the beginning of time? In the earliest cultures, there is evidence of humans operating from the fear that there is not enough and the fear of those who are different. When people operate from those fears, when there is greed, hate, persecution, and intolerance, they are demonstrating that their faith is in their fear. Faith is believing in something without necessarily having evidence. The opposite of that is believing in nothing unless you have solid, concrete evidence. Often referred to as scientific thinking, which is interesting because even scientists who will only believe what they have concrete, solid evidence for have been wrong. I would say faith is believing in something, whether you have evidence or not. And believing in something without evidence calls for greater faith than when you do have evidence. In either case, you have faith in who or what you believe in. The opposite of faith is not believing or no faith. The opposite of fear is believing you are safe and taken care of. Whether you believe that a higher power, spirit, or God is looking out for and taking care of you, or that you're a part of the infinite and will be okay no matter what, or that you can take care of yourself and keep yourself safe. If you feel safe and secure, that is the opposite of fear. if you believe you are safe, secure, and provided for by a higher power or on your own, either way, you're putting your faith in your security rather than in fear. Sadly, so many people put more faith in their fears than in their security or in anything else. When someone's faith is in their fears, they believe others are out to get them. They believe there isn't enough for them. They believe they're not good enough or loved enough. When someone puts their faith in those kind of fears, how are they likely to feel and to behave? How does someone behave when they have faith in the opposite? When they believe others are there to support them, even if others are different. When they believe there is plenty for everyone and they will always have more than enough. When they believe they are wonderful, precious, and loved. If someone has faith in these concepts, how will they feel and behave? What about if you believe you are a part of the infinite, that infinite intelligence and spirit? What if you believe that God, that you are a part of, is watching over you and nothing can harm you, and God is providing for you all that you could want? All you have to do is ask and believe. Have faith that you will receive, that God loves you with a love you can barely imagine, that God made you perfect just the way you are. How would you behave if you really put your faith in God that way? The primary source of virtually all of the problems of the human race is our tendency to put our faith in our fears rather than in our Creator. When you hear someone say your ego is the problem, your ego is controlling, and so on, no, it is fear and having faith in your fears that causes controlling behavior, that causes most of humanity's problems. It is the ego that can be trained to have faith in fears or to have faith in our Creator. Recognize that you, yourself, and no part of you is the problem. But what you have learned to or have chosen to put your faith in may be a problem. You can put your faith in your fears or you can put your faith in your Creator, knowing that you are loved by your Creator with a love greater than you can imagine. Your Creator loves you even more than you love the children you created. Your Creator watches out for you and provides for you even more than you could for your own children. And to receive this love, protection, and abundance, all you have to do is ask and have faith in your Creator. Faith in that which is bigger than you. Faith in God. Where are you putting your faith? Subscribe now, if you haven't already, for ongoing support, information, and strategies for awakening to your true self and your divinity. The next discussion will be about Jesus' call to you to have faith and believe to receive. Please share your thoughts, suggestions, and feedback at Lenny's Life Lessons on Facebook. Follow me at Lenny's Life Lessons on Twitter, and visit my website, lennylondon.com. And thank you for joining me. I hope you'll join me again.